Yo, yo, yo. It's Thursday night. We're back. We're here to talk about car audio stuff and
Yeah,
stuff.
maybe.
A few car audio things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you turned on the little comments in the corner.
Yeah, I figured we'd try it out.
Yeah, that lasted about 5 minutes. I
Well,
was like,
when you watch on TV, it's always like that.
that's so annoying.
That's because, it's good on TV because that's the only way you'll see the comments.
Right. Yeah. That's why we edit the Monday show the way we do. It's just
Yeah.
to move them off to the side
Mhm.
because it's nice to like if you made a comment, if we don't read it, I mean it
Right.
happens, but at least you have proof it was there.
Right. Oh, how far does it go?
Uh,
Does it
I
go all the way up and
up to
stuff?
about here, I think.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it starts to ghost. You can kind of see the line right along here. So
I didn't even know what it would do. It
yeah,
said fade. I was like, well, let's click on it and see what happens.
yeah, we turned it on and we were like, this is stupid.
Oh, I thought it would fade in and out, like it just keeps them up there.
No, it just keeps like, and the more I thought about it, I was like, it's kind of questionable because not everyone is not always sketchy. There's some sketchy
Yeah.
people sometimes, and it's like, yeah, I don't need this stuff, so
Yeah.
we turned it back off. But I mean, it's a cool idea,
Yeah.
But
They can fix it out. They can work out the details, maybe.
yeah, yeah. Sure. I mean, any time off is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I don't know. It was one of those things. Haley and I had stuff to do on Sunday, and then Monday I had stuff to do around the house. So I did get some TV time. So I guess that's a good thing.
There you go.
The funny thing is I don't know about you. I mean, you had a fantastic weekend of fun and
Oh yeah.
excitement. You did 10 times more than I did. But man, I am freaking tired this week, bro. Like,
Dude, we did not sleep probably 4 hours a night.
oh, I don't doubt it. I mean,
And it was, and it's like you're in a new bed that you don't know, and it's that on top of trying to make the most out of a weekend.
mm-hmm. See, I sleep great in hotels.
Yeah.
Like when I'm there by myself, oh, best sleep. Very rarely do I have a bad night's sleep in a hotel.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do, but for the most time, I can just like.
And even if the bed's comfy, I wake up early at a hotel or a rental. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, I usually do because I got shit to do in the morning.
Yeah.
But that and it's like if the girls are with me, I just want to get up and get out.
Yeah.
Because I always have to be the first one up and then wake them up and all that other crap. So
Yeah.
but yeah, as soon as it's like as soon as my brain is like, hey, it's like, oh crap, because I'm usually, like you said, you're doing something that weekend, so it's like you don't want to lay in bed and waste it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, man, we got stuff we could be doing. Let's get to it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So
he joined his time off where he got laid off, so that's typically not the kind of time off you enjoy, but hey, I guess if you're forced with it, that's what you do.
I mean, if you're confident that you're going to find another job, then take a couple minutes.
Yeah,
maybe get some stuff done, and then go back to it. I mean, the grind never stops. It feels like.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So
always something to do. But I did. So you got one step further in the Bronco build. So we got the amp rack up there.
Yeah. I was just funny too because I was watching that going, oh yeah. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, that amp rack. Well, because the humor in all of that is like, so we've done a handful of different Broncos now, and it's like some of them we waited till later to film them. Like we didn't film them right off the bat. We typically don't do that anymore. Like we'll do it a couple times until we're comfortable We have a plan. Like, we know what we want to do.
Yeah.
And so one of the first Broncos we did, somebody brought us an amp rack from another vendor. And I was like, I don't think this is going to work. Oh, no, this works. This works. This works. I said, I don't think it's going to work. And so that amp rack that we used in that video was the amp rack that we made because the other person's amp rack didn't work. And we got done, and I had to redo the whole install in order for the panel to fit back on. Because, you know, and that's why in the video I made such a point of like, do this test fit.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we got this amp rack in, and they were like, oh no, it's perfect. Like, here's all the videos, here's the pictures. These people, yeah, it's gonna fit. I'm like, man, I don't think it's gonna fit. And they're like, no, it'll fit. And like an idiot, I didn't bother to test it and until the very end when it was all done, and it was like, I'm gonna put this on, and I was like, it didn't fit for shit. And I was like, dude, I mean, it was off. Like, it wasn't even close. And so, you know, here I am at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, spending the next 4 hours taking out everything we've done, building a new amp rack, and trying to get caught back up. Not in this video, but this. So we, you know, it's like, that's why we have such a. It's like, these are the 2 amp racks that we have. You know? And the third one, no, we gave that fucker back.
Well, you know, what I'm really waiting for is the Garmin audio sub to be installed, and then that'll complete the system.
Ow, that hurts. That hurts a lot. I had some guy come in today. How is it that you ask somebody a question and then you give them an answer? It's not the answer they were looking for, so you're immediately wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to argue with you about it. And I'm like, guy came in today and it was 2 things. One, he was trying to tell me about how his HD JL amplifier was the best amplifier on the planet.
Right.
And I go, yeah, no. And secondly, like, a capacitor is still a relevant thing. I'm like, no, they're not. Like, capacitors are not relevant things. Like, because I was like, you should get a battery. I'm not. How about a capacitor? They don't work for shit.
Oh, he's talking like a 1 farad capacitor.
Yeah.
Jeez, I
mean,
mean,
they don't work for shit, dude.
No. I have Group 31 500 farad capacitors.
Yeah, like a capacitor bank.
It's like a super bank or whatever.
Yeah. Those are fine. I mean,
1 farad's like this big.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and those in there again, those super capacitors were actually pretty good.
Right.
You know, they're the size of your amplifier. They're actually pretty good. But I mean, there again, you could just put a small battery in and accomplish the same thing.
Yeah.
You know? So
the 1 farad it used to keep your lights from dimming. So did you?
Well, that's when they were 20-volt 1 farad caps, and it was a solid cap. You know, cell. You know, they aren't that anymore. They're hollow pieces of crap
with foam in them. Yeah,
it's freaking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, dude, I'm not here. You're asking a question. I'm not here to argue with you about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
why are you here? If you already know, then why are you here?
I'm like, fuck. I mean, I mean, look, you asked a question. I gave you an answer. You asked another question. I gave you another answer. You didn't like that answer. So what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I mean, get out. You know, I told Fernando, I said, we got to get a key card for the front door. It's just because random people always walk into ours thinking it's the retail store. Because apparently they can't walk the extra 50 feet down to the retail store. And then we go, no. And so this guy wanted to chat. And I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to chat. I don't want to chat. I got work to do, dude.
Any door that only opens one way from the inside.
Right. Well, I need like a key card that you just...
Yeah.
It's like they got to make like an add-on key card lock that I can just...
Oh, yeah. Little magnetic situation.
Yeah. So it's like I can't deal with these people.
Well, you got what? See, I experienced no car audio the past couple of weeks. Well, I say that we talked about Kicker, but last week for sure. So if you guys want to hear about what happened last week, tune into the next show. A lot to talk about. A lot of nerd stuff. But what else car audio has gone on this week for you?
No, my week is just so fun.
You doing anything crazy?
No, we're doing a Paul job, as I like to call them. Paul jobs are anything that I didn't have anything to do with, so that means I have to deal with everything that he neglected to figure out before we had to do it. So this one has taken a very long time. But no, it's just a normal week of Dean.
Yeah,
Nothing fantastic going on.
nothing crazy.
No, nothing too exciting. I mean, it's a 5-day week instead of a 6-day week. So as much as I enjoy the day off, it kind of screws up the week as far as like time frame and getting stuff done.
Yeah,
because my brain is always a 6-day week. So to know that we're already at Thursday, it's like, oh Jesus, we're already behind.
yeah. They start a day behind. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like and we didn't set up the week accordingly. So,
Well, let me ask you this: do you remember the Orion NT BIX 200? It was their crossover, their active crossover.
okay.
So I seen a post on Orion, maybe it was Orion page, about them bringing that back, and I was just dumbfounded. Like, what?
Did it have mini XLR inputs like the amplifiers did?
I don't. That did, yeah. The original one did. I don't know about the new one, but or if there is going to be a new one. But I seen it. I was like, who would
want that?
Yeah.
I mean, have the other amplifiers even started to ship?
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean,
If it was that, if that it was look like that piece, but it was a DSP, 100% behind it.
Yeah.
But if it looks like that piece and it is that piece, I mean, you must have a really high end system. You're talking like home audio type of strangeness.
What high end system do you need?
Yeah, like if you're going to do XLR all the way through, and that was your digital to analog converter for it, that would be the only situation I could think that.
Isn't the F1 XLR cables? I feel like the F1 is XLR. Yeah, I feel like the F1 system is XLR cable. But either way, I mean, I that's Orion NT amps. That's the bowling ball paint job amplifiers. They made
Correct.
They made an add-on external active crossover for it
back in the day, which was useful because
it's a crossover because the amplifier had no crossover.
Yeah, and you didn't have to use passives, and it was useful back in the day, and it was a higher end piece. But today, I just don't.
We got balanced output. I mean, okay, cool.
Yeah. Who cares about the views, man?
What views?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. I mean, you could probably Google it real quick, Jason, and so yeah, I mean, dude, back in the early 2000s, like NT was like the last of the Orion like superpower.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool. I mean, we had the red ones on display.
Oh, they were legit powerful amps too.
Yeah.
Unlike like the 225 and the 2100, which were pretty much underpowered. We had no way of knowing back in the day until I think a magazine tested the 2100. I can't remember. I know they tested 225 for sure.
Yeah.
But
I have a better idea about worrying about views. Worry about making good content. If you make good content, you will get views.
Yeah.
That's key. Good content. Outside of that, whatever. Buy stuff off of Amazon for next to nothing and just grab titles like, hey, I bought this cheap woofer. See how good it bangs.
Yeah. Dude, that's listen, cheap amps and subwoofers in general, too good.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Yeah.
Why we don't do any of them.
It's also what caused me to quit doing videos for so long.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like this.
no, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
work, man. It's
Oh,
simply
yeah.
work. And if you're not going to enjoy it, then there's no point in doing it.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I totally agree. I mean, I have a hard enough time doing it 6 days a week as an actual, like, this is my job, but then having to stare at it. No, I'm not really messing with car audio content anymore. I only watch a few people these days. There you go.
Yeah.
That's probably the best move because there's no money in car audio.
No, that's 100%.
We're thinking about switching to makeup.
There you go.
You know, makeup seems like the winner chicken dinner.
Well, I think Nando, he'd be a good face model. So
oh, totally. Yeah. We're gonna start doing hair transplants and makeup.
there you go.
Try hair creams.
That's the way to do it.
We're gonna do some hair creams.
I did see you remember Bass Dad?
Yeah.
Randomly, I seen a video of his pop up where he was doing like top 15 tech fails over the past 20 years.
Oh,
it's actually a really good video, and it had good views. And I was like, well, he spun it off, so
good for him.
And it wasn't a robot video. It's like that's usually when you get those, it's a robot video, but no, it was him, and he done the research, had some clips, and talked about why the products failed. And I was like, yeah, I dig this. This is a way to get out of the car audio scene for sure.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, with the amount of money and work that you put into it, it's definitely. I enjoy doing it because obviously it's what I do for a living. But
right.
There are better ways that we could have spent our time.
Well, especially when you consider that the biggest car audio YouTube channel is still just barely over 1 million.
Yeah.
With Mead. So
yeah, I mean, not a lot of hopes and aspirations there.
Right. And it's like, it's like that some of the, like if you go to a car channel, some of the smallest ones are like 1 million.
Yeah.
So
which is cool.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, it's just a broader market.
And the funny thing is they're even worse.
Yeah.
Those guys don't know shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's who's watching them. So anyways, enough of that. Can you pull up a picture of that piece? I'm curious to see if it's what I'm thinking about.
I bet you. Let me see here. Orion NT. Let's see here. Yeah, here she goes. Yeah, the NT200 BIX.
So that was like the CRX 200.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's just basically high and low. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, because I had so what you would do is you take a 200 CRX and a 300 CRX and plug them into one another, and that would get you tweeter, mid-range, mid-bass. So you get your full crossover through it, because you'd be able to do overlapping points for your bandpass channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember having to do that because it was like, this sucks. But yeah, you plug one into the other. But yeah, that little guy. Wow.
That's it.
Dyno test.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think this is the same. This is the same video. I don't know. But I think he had to use this is as a bridging module. Is that right? I can't remember. I didn't mess with the NTs too much. I didn't have NT money.
RCA input into it.
Yeah.
Because the 400 BDG on the 280GX was the bridging module.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah. So we had
you could also do it with the audio control as well, remember?
No. We didn't sell audio control.
Oh, you could use, I can't remember which model. Maybe it was the 2XS that you could bridge the Orions with as well. Or maybe it was a different. It was an audio control thing that you could do, but
I don't doubt it. I mean, but
yeah,
the nice thing is if you did it with that, you could use the DIN cable,
right,
bypassing all the RCA bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
was really nice. But yeah, we had those red ones that are in that picture on display in the retail side of things. And we put them up on stands. Then we put mirrors at 45s, and there was a glass bottom on them, real glass, so that you could. And it was a neon lightning tube
Yeah.
back at the triangle that was doing all this crap. So when you walked into the room, you could see up into the bottom of the amplifiers to show off. Like, and of course, everyone's like, "Oh, that's really cool. What is it?" It's an amplifier. What does it mean? Nothing.
It's expensive.
It just looks cool, man.
Yeah.
Do you want to buy them? How much are they?
It's got a marble finish on it.
Bowling ball paint job, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so cool. You should have one. Yeah.
Yeah, they were powerful. I'll give them that. As far as the ones we've seen tested, they were some of the most powerful ones they ever made.
And that's the best thing about back then. We couldn't test shit.
Yeah.
So we really didn't even care.
Yeah, doesn't it? That's something that even like Derek tested I don't know if you ever messed with early Planet Audio that was Zed made.
Mm-mm.
So they had a model that was the P225 UHC, and it was stable to 1/2 ohm mono, which
Wow.
back then was really rare.
Yeah.
In the first demo I seen of it, they ran literally like 16 subwoofers off of it, in stereo on the soundboard. And I was like, wow, that's impressive. And then using the amp, it was impressive. Like you load it down to 1/2 ohm mono, 1 ohm mono, and it seemed like it was legitimately putting out the 800 watts that they claimed. Well, it was Planet Audio. So when Derek tested it, it did not put out the 800 watts. As a matter of fact, it did just a little over 500 at a 1/2 ohm mono.
Okay.
Which was strange, but just in practice, I know that the thing is actually pretty loud.
Right.
So there's something to be said for amps that I don't know if it's they're controlling the subwoofer better or whatever, but there are lower power amps that just seem.
Well, I mean, a Punch 45.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like Punch 45 was the amp. You put that on everything, and it always performed. Now subwoofers were much simpler back then.
Right.
Simple suspension systems and all that other fun stuff. But I mean, still, you put 2 Punch 45s in a car, and it would be like, this is gold.
Oh yeah. And no one knew anything about Ohm's law back then. As an enthusiast, it was like, oh, I'll just hook all the subs up to it.
Well, yeah. I mean, put aluminum foil around the fuse.
Yeah.
Dean, honest opinion, running Toslink from head unit to DSP, is it worth it? This isn't an easy question to answer, because the immediate answer to it would be yes, you should do it. It's fantastic. However, it really depends on everything that is happening. So, for example, if the amplifier has a substandard, or the DSP has a substandard Toslink input, which a lot of them do because they know no one was going to be using it. So it was kind of one of those things that I feel DSP manufacturers, unsubstantiated, but I feel it's one of those things that a lot of DSP manufacturers were putting on their DSPs, knowing that there was no application for it. Okay, or very little application for it. And it was like the 2% of the people that might actually hook it up, they could deal with easily enough and help them with workarounds to make them actually perform better. Now, with the advent of Amp Pro coming out with Toslink built into it, that kind of changed the narrative a little bit, in my opinion. This is my opinion. In my opinion, alone. We had to start using Toslink because that was the only way to get rid of noise, because the preamp section sucked and we would get noise from those in certain applications. So Toslink would fix that. Now we have various results, and that's where input sensitivity on the DSP would have to be turned up in order to get to the volume of the RCA. So it was like, this is very strange. We weren't expecting this. And so, manufacturers have kind of gone back into their Toslink sections and made them better. especially in like the Amp Pro, the ARs and stuff like that, or the Zen modules. So in a situation like that where we know we're going to run into noise, we automatically just go for Toslink. And that's usually only when we're integrating into an aftermarket radio through some form of module. Now with Kenwood finally and Stinger previously having a Toslink output, we've never used the Stinger Toslink output because it just didn't give us the volume we were looking for. And there again, the products we were attaching it to just weren't ready to accept that. Now, since then, we've moved on to different products, and those products assumed that people were going to be using it, so they do a much better job. Now Kenwood has just started to ship that piece. We're putting one in now, and we are not doing Toslink because it doesn't make sense to do it in this particular install. There again, the digital to analog conversion being done in the radio is fantastic. Okay, and that's so there's two aspects of why you would want to do this. One is you want a straight digital output because your DSP has this amazing DAC in it that is going to do a fantastic job converting everything over for you. And if it doesn't, if the one in the radio is better than the one that you're dealing with, then the conversion in the radio and just going preamp makes a lot of sense. If the goal is noise or the fear of noise, then okay, well, then you're kind of dealing with a different headache. Like you have to, at that point, it makes sense to go Toslink into the DSP and reduce the noise. The problem that you'd run into, or the thing that you really have to pay attention to, is the Toslink cable itself. The longer runs are great. However, in a car can suck because it's not glass. It's a plastic of some kind. But the more you bend it, the more it loses light, because anytime you bend light or bend the tube, the light is going to diminish some. Now, there are some really nice cables out there that diminish that and all that, but it's still kind of a new thing that we haven't really had to deal with. Most of the time when we do Toslink, it's a 3-foot cable or a 1 meter cable in the back of the car. And it's like, you put it in a big circle that's about as big as my head.
Yeah.
And you don't have any problems with it because it's a 3-foot cable and there's no, but when we were doing Amp Pros in the dash and we were running 17-foot cables, we kept having bad cables. And it was like, these cables suck.
That's been my experience with Toslink from older amps, is that the cables I've had trouble with.
Yeah.
And they're not like with RCAs, you can bend those pretty tight and get them up out of the way.
Yeah.
With Toslink, if you've got a 12-foot cable but only 6-foot run, well, you got to find some way to.
You have to loop it. Big loops.
Mm-hmm.
Big loops. And typically what I'll do is I'll put that on the back of the amp rack where it's not going to be an issue. So
right.
I'll build my Toslink cables into the amp rack, and then I'll have a big area in the back where I can come in and I can do this.
Right.
But there again, with the new Kenwoods, I was thinking about that tonight. We really need to do some testing and see what we're going to get out of that, because nobody really knows. Nobody really knows what it's doing, yet. So we kind of have to do some more tests to see if that's going to be an awesome thing. The safe money, and this is what we still do a lot of times, is we'll do both. We'll run Toslink and RCA. That way we can just switch between the two if we need to. And I think that'll be what makes the most sense in the beginning until we get some really, because literally the Kenwoods have just started shipping. Yeah. So until we get some real time with the product. And the other thing too is the funny thing is that most people buying like a 1058 or a 1057 or these aren't buying DSP because the radio has such a good such a good amount of stuff in it. They're just buying that and going into straight power amplifiers because it has a parametric EQ, has a 13 band EQ, it has time alignment, it has good crossovers, it has a lot of the things that we're looking for, and at a price point that is more affordable. And so, we still do a ton of those radios into straight power amplifiers, and that's it. And like, for example, like this one that we're doing today or tomorrow and this whole freaking week is, it's got a 1058 going into a DMA10. And it's like all the features in that radio, we're not going to use 80% of them.
Yeah.
Because why? So yeah, we're still trying to wrap our heads around all of this. So
when I think I would say that a lot of people, a nice head unit like that is going to get you most of the way you want to be there, unless you're looking at really high end components. I mean, I feel like the head unit will do a high end head unit like that will do a pretty good job for most people.
For most people, it is. Yeah.
No problem.
So they're talking about the frac tweeter in off axis, on axis.
Let's see.
The unlike the previous Kevlar with the K2s. So yeah, this is so this is one of those things, right? This, like, anytime somebody comes out with something new that replaces something that was amazing, and then they come out and it's like, is it as good? And, it's like, I like the old one, and the new one sucks, and it's not doing this, and it's like, it's different. It's different. It was brought out for a different purpose. And if you're trying to use it like what it was intended for, I feel like, low crossover points and try. I think that's where it falls apart. I really do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think if you use it as a tweeter, like it is, you're fine. Like, we just got doing the Toyota last week that had the frac system in it, and oh my God, no. I mean, in my opinion, that stereo sounded way better than the same stereo we had done in the same truck a month earlier with the regular tweeters that my customer brought with him.
Yeah.
Those were fine, but I thought this had a much more. I think the transition between the speakers and just everything that was happening. I think the frac tweeter sounded performed better in that regard. Did we do some different equalization on it? 100%. Had to. They don't work the same. I opted for a higher crossover point than what you can play them at, because I had a mid range that was 6 inches away from it that was going to do a lot of that. I didn't need the tweeter to play those frequencies. So, and I think that's why the frac only comes in the 3-way set. I don't think you can get it in the 2-way set. I think you still get the conventional tweeter. So
that's strange to have a lower playing tweeter in a 3-way set,
right?
That seems
counterproductive.
And especially like Focal, just in my experience with them, their tweeters always have played. You have to be at like 5K, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
And their mids play very well up to that in my experience.
Dude. Yeah.
And beyond, so like they're matched perfectly. But unlike like Morel, who is known for having lower playing tweeters and a few other, maybe this is a new venture for them.
In there again, I think I don't, hey, manufacturers always go back and they look at their line and they go, where are people complaining the most? And I feel that the frac tweeter is a result of that. I feel like they were like, hey, one of the biggest complaints we get is everyone's like, oh, you got to play these up at 5,000. And the European market is way different than the American market. Okay. They do things like the whole world over there is different volumes, different thoughts, different, like, they believe in kitty cat whispers and kisses and stuff or some silly shit like that. So, I think it's a fantastic tweeter. It's big. So to me, the downside really isn't the performance. The performance of the tweeter to me has been great. Every system we've put it in sounded fantastic. We've put them in the dash. We've put them in the sides. We've never put them back farther. Like they've always been, 8 pillars. I don't think we've put them in the sail panels yet, which I hope we don't, because that to me seems a little far back. But it's worked fine in every application we put it in. I've been super happy with it. One of the things I like about the Focal tweeters specifically is that, in my mind, they're some of the easiest tweeters to EQ. Like, they're very predictable in what they're going to do.
Right.
And, and if you knock them down a little bit in like the 6,800, 8,000 range, or then, or 63, whatever, 63 and 8,000. For some reason, in some instances, they're like all the way up here. That's why they twinkle so much when you don't EQ them. And when you get those, when you bring those two frequencies under control and bring them back into the real world, that's when the tweeter really starts to shine and really sound very accurate and lifelike.
Do you use a pretty steep crossover? Like when I've messed with them, I think
everything's 24 dB.
24 dB is what. But I don't always do that. Like on the Morel sets I've had, I've been able to do.
Like 15. Okay, so Morel doesn't play by those rules. Okay, right. So that's 100%. And even Brian, we always laugh at this, is that Linkwit's 24 dB unless you're talking about Morels, in which case you're on your own. You're gonna end up doing some really silly shit with them. Right. Sometimes you're doing an 18 Butterworth. Sometimes some of their crossover points are just like crazy. And then again, sometimes it's like, you know what? Screw it. That's great. Here's some really kooky crossover points. And then you just go, you know what? Let's just try 32. 32.
Let's get crazy with it. Want to fall off a cliff. 48.
Yeah. And it's like all of a sudden it reels it back in, and you're not having to spend 2 hours screwing with EQ and the shit out of it because it's doing some weird shit over here, and you're just like,
right.
Is that even necessary? Like,
Well, there's I've heard passives, and I swear they were like 6 dB.
They are
crossover on the tweets, and it's like,
yeah, there is. Well, I mean, if you just got a cap on your tweet, it's 6 dB.
Yeah, but some of them they'll either double it up or they'll have.
No, it's so high.
Yeah,
6 dB at like 2.2 microfarad cap. 6 dB. Jesus Christ! I mean,
I've heard passives where they sound great in a passive system, but
why wouldn't they?
But some of them have been absolutely terrible.
Well, Dean, what do you think about using the DSP in the head unit for time alignment and extra crossover on subs, and then a separate DSP and amp for mids and highs? Okay, so the easiest answer for that, Tim, is if you're going to be doing it yourself, fantastic. Like, go to town. If you ask me to do it for you as a customer, not a fucking chance. No, not even a chance. When you do something as a standalone like that, where you have 100% control, you understand what is happening, then great. Like, then sure, why not, right? It's perfectly cool. Now the time alignment in the DSP will be better than the time alignment in the radio. That's the other problem too, is that they're good, they're not great. Most DSPs cost just as much as a radio, so better components in the DSP. So if you're going to be using a DSP and it's a higher quality DSP, like 800, 650, let's say anywhere between 550 up, then yeah. But some of these DSPs are cheap, in which case doing what you're talking about, yeah, why not? But there again, as long as you understand what you're doing, go for it. But don't ask me to do it.
Well, and it's a situation like, if you're doing it for yourself, great. But if you're trying to compete or something like that, you definitely.
Well, in my world, it's a production thing, right? So we have to do it, and we have to understand it, and the customer has to be. At the end of the day, our customer, all they want to do is grab the volume knob and go up and down, up and down, up and down. That's it. Nobody wants to like have to sit there and be like, all right, how many bells and I want to. No, nobody wants to do that. It's like, that sucks. So, but on your own, hell yeah, rock on. I think that's a fantastic. I have an Illusion 8-inch component I'm going to install. I'd like to make a 3-way. My options are a carbon 3-inch, carbon 4-inch. I have both. Which would you go with? So Brian would answer this question. Mitchell would answer this with go with the 4-inch if you have room. He loves a 4-inch mid-range to pair up, pardon me, to his tweeter. And with as much as he wins, he's probably correct. The problem is in most worlds, a 4-inch is not going to fit anywhere in the top of a car, in a current car. Yeah. So, you end up having to build some form of a pod or cutting the dash. And if you're going to starve the 4-inch for air, it might not be worth it. So then you end up with a 3.5. Either way, a 3.5 is always going to be better than or 3-way is always going to be better than a 2-way. I think the argument in your case would be because you have an 8, you could cross that 4 over a little lower and maybe make that 8 not work as hard playing up to it. So that would probably be the argument that somebody would make for that.
I mean, in general, I almost would always say you go with the biggest speaker you can get away with and you have room for. Like if it's a subwoofer, as someone who loves small subwoofers, I love 8 inches, 6.5s. Like if someone asked me like, hey, should I do 3 8s or 2 15s? I'm going to tell them 2 15s if you got the room and you're willing to go at the space because you're going to be able to play lower. Yeah, you might be able to get as loud with the 8s, but it's going to be a little bit different. I mean, you're just not going to have the range that you would have with the 15s on the bottom end.
Right.
You could build an enclosure. You could, all that factors in, but still.
Everyone should have 15s. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you got room, put the big subs in. If you're not afraid to lose it, then do it.
Yeah, definitely want a 15. Listen, Tim, that's the great thing, man. Like, have some fun. Dude, what the hell? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Try something else. But yeah, and don't get me wrong. That's kind of some of the things that have been lost by myself just because I do this and I have to be responsible about it for a living. Because like people come to me because they want it to be a certain way, so I have to do it that way. And so some of like the creativeness of this just kind of gets lost in the wash because we don't want to have those conversations. So we tend not to think that way anymore. Because
it's a business for you guys.
Well, yeah, and everything has to be repeatable, serviceable. Serviceable is key.
Yeah.
And it also has to make sense. Like you don't want some guy calling you like 8 o'clock in the morning going, "Oh man, I don't know what happened." It's like, "Oh, you turned the wrong knob."
Yeah.
It's like I think the like the conductors and the new Gladiator and all those knobs are cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I also look at it and go, "Ooh, I don't know."
It's a lot of trouble. Yeah.
It's just asking.
It can get you into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's just like if somebody doesn't totally understand what these things are for,
yeah,
then keep them the hell out of the car because it's like people are used to their volume knob. They want to use what, and there I say knob, which is funny because what has a knob anymore? Kenwood. Whatever they're used to turning their volume up and down with is what they want to keep doing it with. And if you have a Hyundai, it could be the air conditioning speed or it could be the volume. You don't know. You don't know. Have you seen that?
No.
On the what is it, the Santa Fe or whatever it is, the knob double teams as volume and air conditioning speed.
Why even have it at that point then?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like that's the whole point of having buttons and knobs is a dedicated button or a knob.
I go. We're looking at it one day and I go, "Where's the volume knob?" I could have swore that was the volume knob, and then it flipped, and I go, "Fernandez, it is the volume." I said that said fan speed, and we sat there screwing with it. We're like, "Oh my god, it's both," and we're like.
Got him.
That's
What's
so
the point?
stupid.
What's the point at this? Like people want dedicated volume knobs or buttons for dedicated things.
Well, not only that, but like even on like the Dodges, man, where it's if you have a car and has a trackpad.
Oh, dude, yeah, like the Mercedes.
Oh wow, you're way cooler than I will ever be.
You know what sucks?
All of it.
It doesn't suck on the Mercedes as bad because it does have its touchscreen all the way.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it offsets with you can use the trackpad. My buddy's Lexus, you cannot use the touchscreen.
No, there's no touchscreen.
And,
yeah, because we get those.
Like,
We get those all the time to put the RVDFL CarPlay kit into him.
Yeah.
And I just look at Fernando and go, you're going to be the one demoing this, right? And it's like, what? I go, I'm not. He knows I will not demo these to anybody because I try to use that trackpad and I immediately turn into my dad. What is this?
Dude.
What am I? What the hell is going? Why? And we both know that these people bought these cars. They understand how these features work, but we will sit there and we will struggle with things. And I go, I would not buy this car just because of this.
I 100% agree.
This is so stupid.
And I told my buddy, he's like, "Oh, it doesn't bother me. I'm used to it now." I was like, "Listen, I am frustrated on your behalf.
Yeah,
like you should be frustrated. This is not acceptable."
No, it's like, ugh. Need a suggestion, Vega? Knows I like to party on my highs and convert volume all the time. Leaning towards some models of Audison Voce.
You have to speak to, I've never heard Voce.
Well, they got the Voce 2s now.
Ooh.
Yeah, those things look like beasts. I haven't had a chance to do anything with them other than go, you have Voce 2s.
Yeah, I have never used Audison Voce, but I can give a shout out to like the Hertz
Melee Pros.
Yeah, and
Centos.
Yeah, I have the Centos in the back of the Trooper, and then let me talk about turning some tuning down on them dudes because then.
Well, those are the two. So understanding Hertz, so they're both Electromedia.
Yeah,
Hertz is easiest way to think of it is Hertz is beer and pretzels. Party. Audison is wine and cheese.
Yeah.
Okay, that's their speakers in a nutshell. So if you're like, I like it to be like, yeah, baby, hear that shit? That's me. That's what the Millie Pros are for. The Voce is more
look pinky up action. Yeah.
Ooh, I can taste the timber.
Yeah. Listen, the Hertz are hot. They're hot. But I think they're efficient.
Yeah. I mean, that's not to say that they both don't get down and boogie. I mean, I feel that's always kind of like, oh, so they don't. No, of course they get loud. Of course they do all that shit. It's just those are made to do it, and these are going to be forced to do it.
Right.
So, like, if you're sitting there going, all I listen to is this, reference shit, then yeah, Voce 2 all the way.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I want to just rip some shit up.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, and if all you listen to is
Pinky's out kind of guy. Hey man, welcome to the club.
Listen, some people exclusively listen to the Iasca track list, and that's all they listen to.
No,
those aren't my people.
No, and that's fine. I mean, it's cool. I mean, listen,
sometimes they have good songs on there. Sometimes
they don't. Which is cool, man. It's like, hey, listen, I'm the biggest Morel fan there is, and you don't get any more pinkies out than that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is for sure. It's nightclubs or intimate settings. Which one are you?
There you go.
Yeah. Ram trucks get confusing with all.
Oh
yeah, for sure.
Shift knob. Yeah.
Dude, you ever sat in a Panamera? You want to talk about too many goddamn switches and knobs?
Really?
Oh,
that's
Panamera.
Also the ugliest Porsche I've ever seen in my life.
The Panamera?
Yeah, I hate them.
Okay.
I would rather have a Macon or Macon or whatever they call it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dyne Audios.
Dyne Audios, dude. I've never owned Dyne Audio. I want to buy a set of Dyne Audio.
I have a set of Dyne Audios that Brian sent me.
Yeah.
That I've been dying to put in something. Like everything that I own, I'm dying to do something with it, but I have no time to do shit with any of it. And it's so freaking annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I want to play. It's like, I just want to do it for myself because.
Yeah, that's the one. There are speakers that I feel like I need to hear to have a full.
Well, if you look, if you look back in history, Dyne and Morel were very much brothers in audio. There was a lot of intermingling with the patents between the two of them, and then eventually they went their separate ways. So Dine has a very Morel feel to them, or Morel has a very Dine feel to it. I don't care which one you want to say. The two of them are semi-ancestral.
Literally the biggest voice coils they can stuff in a speaker.
Yeah, yeah.
At any given size.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, you don't have to do that, Mike, but I mean, we'll meet up somewhere at some point. No, listen, I've heard Dines in a car.
I've heard
them in a house.
Yeah,
and they're fantastic. Dine is, but and there again, that's one of those speakers though that you sit there and you go, oh yeah. So, and the other downside to a Dine, honestly, is that they don't make car speakers. They make home speakers that they sell for cars. So it's like the tweeter with the plate that's this big, and you're going, where are we putting that? Oh, we're gonna put it right here on the A-pillar.
Yeah.
Well, we are we? Okay.
Well, it's like if you remember, I think it was the first generation Status from Alpine. They used Scan speakers. Which
yeah.
big ring tweets. They're awesome, but they're huge. I mean,
well, there again, the original Morels, if you go back to that era, they had, it was a home audio tweeter. It was gigantic. It had a 3-inch mount, with a double stack magnet, and there was a version with horns, and it was all that fun stuff. So yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry.
So I did, when we were at Kicker, I did tell the story about us listening at finals to the Image Dynamic horns, and then you had to gently let the guy down that you didn't really like horns.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good one.
Yeah. Sorry. Dude, I've never in my life sat in my own car and turned something on and been so like, get these the fuck out of my car. Like,
you don't like what you don't like, man. I mean,
dude, and those took so long for us to get them in there. Because they have to be right on. My buddy, I put them in and I got them wrong, and my buddy's like, dude, you're doing this all wrong. And I said, all right, well, what do you do? He literally took a fucking 2x4 and a piece of ABS, and we just sat there and heat gunned the shit out of it for like an hour until we formed this perfect channel out of this 2x4, and then we cut out the holes and mounted it into the truck underneath the dash, and it was perfect. Right. And I was like, oh shit, that's awesome. And it's, it's like it could got, and I turned it on and I'm like,
nope. What did you have them cross down to? Was it pretty low, like 800?
It was the whole thing. It had these big box crossovers, and it was the whole system. So there was little things you could do, and I could never get it to sound anything other than shitty.
Yeah, there was another company besides the Image Dynamics that pushed them pretty hard back in the day. I can't
remember. Was it like USD horns or some shit?
Yes, like USD. That? Yep, wave guides. They used to call theirs all wave guides, which that's what they are. But
yeah, I mean, it's, and there again, there's a place for everything, and that was not the place for me. That's just really what it came down to. I mean, granted, if I would have had maybe if there would have been DSP back then, or anything else, like, it just, I could never get them to sound like anything more than just like, there was nothing to it, and it was like, these suck, and then I went right out of those into a set of Morels, and I was like, these are amazing.
Right, this is what I wanted.
This is what I want. Or I'm sorry, no, after that, I went from Morels to those, because that was in a Dodge Ram, so I had my Morels in all my cars. So no, I had Morels and I went to those. That didn't work for me. And then from that, I went to, when I got rid of that truck, I went to Kenwood, and that's when I got a shit ton of Kenwood power and the 7x10s, and then a set of 4-inch in the dash. Like, I made the 4-inch fit because you could fit 3.5. So I was like, they don't make 3.5. So I was like, hold my beer. So I put the 4s in the dash, and that was loud like I liked it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is way better.
Why you mentioned Kenwood, I have to sidejack. So I talked to Marcus at Kicker, right? And tell him like, hey, one of my dream subs was the Kenwood HQ.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
He found it, sent me a picture. Now I'm trying to talk him out of it. I was like, hey, name your price.
Oh wow.
It needs refund, but dude,
Huh.
that'd be an awesome display piece.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was. That's where it came from. But
I'd
probably refoam that and display it. That'd be a fun video, refoaming my dream sub from back in the day. Because they're rare.
No, you can't do delay for that all on a head unit unless you have the new Stinger radio that has 8-channel preamp out, and you have amps for all those channels, or if you're a motorcycle guy and you have the new Diamond Audio radio.
Oh,
yeah, because that's a 10-channel radio. So you have 6-channel preamp out, and you have 4 channels of amplification.
Yeah,
that are all discrete. That's what John was talking about when he was on the show. And I was like, oh, really? He goes, yeah, because what the fuck is the point? I mean, if we're going to put an amplifier in there, we might as well put, I mean, the DST chips are cheaper now, right? Like, it's so easy to do a 10-channel DSP according to them. So we might as well just do it and make it right. And it's like, oh.
Dude, can I tell you how much I hate motorcycle radios? I just absolutely hate them, man. I've not heard one that sounded good to me. I'm not the expert of sound, but I've heard some that are so loud. They're like their own stunt walls.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never heard one that I thought sounded good.
So keep in mind, 10 channels for a motorcycle, it's still just 10 speakers, right?
Right.
At the end of the day. So, I mean, active tweeter, active mid. So if depending on how many you have up front, where they're located, dude, these bikes, you can have 20 pairs of speakers on them. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. But 10 channels of audio, that's just 10 speakers. Okay. Yeah. And if they're 10 different sizes, yeah, it's not that hard to do. I mean, you could have 8 just in 4 in the front, 4 in the back. And keep in mind, a tweeter is a speaker. So, and going with an active tweeter is pretty substantial. So
when it's like, listen, car audio guys annoy other people with their radios that are inside a vehicle for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Motorcycle guys are supposed to annoy you with their exhaust, and they do that very well. They annoy me a lot with their exhaust. They shouldn't also have the power of the loudest radios you can have on Earth. It's just a bridge too far for me. It's like you get one thing right. Like, we can be annoying, and you hear the bass, and we're not putting tweeters in your face. Like, it's in our vehicle. Well, it's annoy you that way. I get annoyed because see, they're revving at the stoplight too. But they have to play the radio so loud that it goes over that.
Yeah,
and they all have bad taste in music.
It's funny. it's funny because like the hobby shop guy that I can't go to his hobby shop anymore because he's an idiot. He doesn't understand how sound works. He's making these trailers to pull behind these RC cars, and he's firing the subwoofer straight up.
Right.
And I go, and I go, why don't you aim it towards the ground? Like, oh no, that's not how you do it. I go, no. I guess you don't understand how a subwoofer works, because aiming it towards the ground will give it something to reflect off of, and you'll actually in motorcycles, and when they direct the subs towards the ground, that's how you get the bass out of them.
Yeah.
If and a buddy of mine brought up one of those little 3-wheel things where 2 wheels in the front, 1 in the back, and he showed me the subwoofer that he built. I was like, huh, that's actually pretty cool. I said, does it work? He goes, well, I mean, it don't put out a lot of bass. I said, so, like, does it sound good when you're in a parking lot and there's a car next to you? He goes, yeah.
There you go.
I go, you know why, right?
Listen, I have heard some good bass out of motorcycle systems. Yeah, I will give them that. The problem is they have the bullet tweets, and not the good kind, the kind that just like they grate on me, and it's like, I don't like this. I don't
Eh,
like you now either.
yeah. I
No,
when
sorry,
when
motorcycle guys. I'm extra hating, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, when done properly, I can dig them. But there again, I dig all that shit, man. I love stunt walls. I don't get me wrong. I don't bring me one. I'm not doing it for you at all. But I will admire from afar your
Yeah,
stunt wall and your motorcycle. And I mean, if it sounds like shit, I'm gonna tell you that sounds like shit. But when
right.
they do them right and they sound like
I've come around on stunt
good,
walls because I've heard a few that I thought sounded
well,
pretty
let's
good.
be honest. Okay, can we call a stunt wall what it is? I mean, sure, we'll call it a stunt wall, but let's be honest. All it like you could go to any stadium and steal the speakers out of the ceiling
Yeah, yeah,
and just be like, bro, I got have an array.
yeah,
Just go check out my stunt wall. I got a Bose stunt wall. It's a fucking
dude.
Bose array
D-
out of the stadium. It's like
Uh,
that
our
sounds
one of the guys that
neat.
watches this very stream at the old school meet in Texas, he brought he it was we've done it 2 days. The first day he's like, hey, I got these speakers from a church
Yeah,
horns. He's like, I'm gonna hook them up and bring them tomorrow. He he wrecked my ears. I was probably 30 feet away, and I was like, Jesus, that's a weapon, man. That's
oh yeah, dude. So when we were at Paramount Studios in California doing the night tour, and they took us into the sound the to the one of their little studios where they
yeah,
watch movies, pre-watch movies, and like they used to watch black and white movies and shit like that, and they were talking about how the directors would sit behind the stage so they could watch the reaction from the crowd, and so we got to go behind the screen and where the speakers were, and it was all these JBL studio, professional speakers. And fuck me, man, they had this JBL horn that
it
was
was
like
man.
it's like 2 feet tall. Oh,
You did. You really did.
good job, Ken. It's like 2 feet tall, a foot wide. I mean, and it had this tweeter on the back of it. That I mean, Jesus, it was like a bowling ball, man. And I'm just like, that is a fucking horn. Oh my god. And it probably had like a 4-inch diaphragm in it. I mean, probably wasn't even a
Yeah.
tweeter. It was probably just a long throw mid. But Jesus Christ, man, I was like, dude, you know how many people would be like, I want that.
Yeah, that's
you know. And let's be honest, the original stunt wall, we all know what the original stunt wall is, right? No? It was in a movie. It was in a movie. Old
yeah.
movie.
The original Stonewall?
Yeah, the original stunt wall was in a movie. 80s. 80s. Probably 70s.
The only thing that's coming to mind is not a stunt wall. It's Back to the Future with the guitar amp.
No. Car, though.
Yeah.
The Blues Brothers.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, they got the OG stunt wall, man. They stole
did.
that church speaker and put it on top of their freaking car.
That's what Ken did. That's exactly what Ken did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got ear molested right there in Texas. It was an experience.
Oh, Pioneers are releasing a retro head unit. Is it retro, though? Is it really retro?
Yeah.
Or is it just
Listen,
something
Pioneers,
it off? Is it a PRS 80?
dude.
That would be
even.
cool.
You're gonna get these people
all in a tizzy.
Yeah, and it's like, and then I'm gonna have to be like, yeah, I hate the PRS 80, but I also loved it because I bought 8 of them. But I think I more hate it than love it. It is what it is.
I'll pass on all of it.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, why not? I mean,
might as well.
The only one that's out right now is a Block Punk, and that thing sucks. So,
Block Punk, that's a whole nother show. We could talk about the fall of Block Punk. Yeah. the Kodak of car audio.
Oh, wow.
It really is, though.
That really, yes, it is. Damn. Looks like Pioneer and Alpine had a baby. Oh, okay. I got to see this thing now. Yeah.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Got a PRS 80 and a 99. Ooh, nice. 99s are like, the 99 is what every PRS 80 guy wishes he had.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a nice piece back in the day. Oh man, okay, I got to see this thing. Okay, well, hey,
Yeah,
all right,
we'll
we
check
could keep going. You guys are firing it up at the end. That's great. Next week, bro. Might not be a show next week.
Okay.
I think I have to go to Haley's graduation next Thursday.
She's official grown up now.
I mean, she's got to grow up. Today was her first paycheck.
Ooh.
She calls me today and she goes, "Dad, what? I got a paycheck today." And I go, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, it's my first one." She's had jobs before. This is her first job as
big
an
girl.
actual,
Like big girl. Yeah.
yes, this is her life job.
Hey, and it's hitting around Father's Day. I mean, just saying.
Hitting around my birthday. Well, screw Father's Day. My birthday's next week.
Both.
You know? hit a brother up. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, come on.
Oh,
Hook me
man.
up.
All right. Well, no show next week then. If you want to hear about Disney and a Florida trip and
that's not my Disney trip.
Yeah, and not a Dean Disney trip and an actual movie that I enjoyed.
Oh, I got a better movie.
Ooh, okay. Sounds good. So follow the link. We'll catch you guys in that show, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right, man.
Bye.